What up, guys? It's Bill Cabins. I'm bringing y'all another video today. So yesterday, it looks like CJ dropped a rant about the detailer guy, right? I think his name was Jim. And basically, they had a little discrepancy. It looks like Jim was trying to propose like a business plan to him, and CJ turned it down, and then he talked about it in his most recent video that he posted. So I'm going to go through the comments on Jim's side. I'm going to go through the comments on CJ's side. And then I'm going to give y'all my opinion on what I think happened, or, how it should have been handled. So, I just go to Jim's page and, I see comments like this, So, and then I also commented on it. I said, come on, Jim, I was rooting for you. You was wrong for coming at CJ like that. Now you canceled your blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thought process on it as I'm looking at these comments, there was more, and it looks like, Jim deleted them. I don't know, it might have been filtered off of his channel, but he had way more comments than this on the CJ situation. So I think, mine was the top comment, but, I try to keep it respectful, but I see where CJ was coming from, He was like, and then there was people in the middle saying that I don't know what happened to Jim. Basically, long story short, my honest opinion, when I was watching CJ do those videos with the gym guy, my personal opinion, guys, and, I'm a fan of CJ. I'm not going to agree with CJ on everything, but as I was, watching Jim, like, he seemed overexcited over CJ's cars. And, I didn't feel like it was genuine, to be honest with you guys. Like, him being really excited. And then I noticed that, he was trying to say slang things. Like, let me explain this to you guys. This is coming from a black man, right? As a black man, when you're talking to people, you can tell when someone's kind of being not real or phony, or they're trying to, engage themselves like the way that you talk, or the way that, your quote unquote boys would talk. You know what I mean? So that's what the impression that I got from Jim. I'm not saying that he was doing it on purpose, but, that wasn't the way Jim normally spoke. So it looks like, when Jim was speaking to CJ, he was just saying words like homeboy or dog, or that wasn't natural of Jim. And I could tell that, in certain clips it would irritate CJ, but he didn't say anything. He just kept going. But Jim does good work from what I can tell. But at the end of the day, I just feel like Jim just came at CJ the wrong way, and I'm looking at some of these comments. And one thing I will say, a very smart person is going to do passive-aggressive things. So what I took as something passive-aggressive that people might have looked over is when Jim went to CJ's shop, and then he was already smoking his cigar. And people might not catch things like this, but I do. You might not say it's a big deal or whatever, but when you have experience dealing with people, you catch certain things like this. He already had his cigar lit, and he was already smoking, and he wanted to see what CJ was going to say. It's little passive-aggressive things like that. Another thing is, when he work on the cars, like even from, him trying to put the license plate on CJ's vehicle. CJ looked at him a certain way, and, Jim looked like he was forcing himself upon CJ. Like, as far as trying to get him to do more, this and that. And it's like, at the end of the day, CJ has almost 1 million subscribers. He did more than enough for Jim by even shouting him out, giving him a platform. Now it will be two different things if CJ never did any of this. Number one, you hit up CJ on vacation, right? That's rule number one. You don't do that, right? Number two, you seen CJ said that you asked him multiple times and you kept worrying him about certain things. Number two, you started posting the videos without CJ's permission. At least let him post the videos. You know what I'm saying? It adds up. You know what I'm saying? It's not like CJ just snapped out of nowhere, guys. It's not like he did. You know, I don't know, guys. Like, number three is, you know, CJ is looking out for Jim more than he has to. You know what I'm saying? He's shouting him out. He's telling people to subscribe to his channel. CJ's paying for the work. Where is CJ getting anything from this? You know what I'm saying? And I think it's the fact that the way Jim presented it to him as well. You got to remember, CJ already said they had multiple conversations about the same thing. To me, personally, especially because most of us are adults, when you keep asking someone the same thing after they tell you their answer, I feel like that's a sign of disrespect. You don't keep asking the same thing. He already told you, and then you move on. So as far as asking CJ, hey, can I post the videos at this time? He's like, CJ already told him no. So when you keep asking the same question, to me, that's a form of disrespect. And I could see why someone would get upset, because it's like you're not respecting what they said. You know what I'm saying? They gave you a response, so you accept it. So another thing is, well, what are we on? Number four? Number four is the way you presented the text. You're showing CJ the text, and it's saying, well, you know, it's kind of like Shark Tank. And because it's like Shark Tank, I'm willing to offer you 20%. What is 20% of what? Of the business, which is basically worth nothing at this point. And I'm not talking about the business, but the project V, or you know, whatever you called it. It's, what is CJ benefiting from it? You're gaining all of CJ's subs, but he's getting nothing in return. Now, if you said in that text, hey, can you promote this and I'll give you free details, or I give you some type of, you know, payment in advance or something, then that would have made sense. But it's like, CJ, you want CJ to extend himself, which he's already doing by giving you a platform, by, you know, you getting subs from CJ, getting views from CJ. That should have been enough right out the get-go. And then another thing is, within 2 weeks, come on, at least wait 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And that can rub people the wrong way, especially people where they're in a certain position and they feel like when people do stuff like that, you can take advantage of them. So CJ's not wrong. You know, I just felt like it would have got worse. You got to remember all the things that, you know, Jim was doing that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily do myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you try to put a license plate on CJ's car. Come on, man. Then when it came, I think it was to the Urus, he told you that he was going to fix the rock chips at PC. You took it upon yourself to fix the rock chips, even though he told you not to. Another thing, you came to CJ's clubhouse, you know, smoking a cigar inside of the place. I mean, like, it's something that you shouldn't ask. It's just something that you don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, it's not a house, but, you know, you don't walk into someone's, you know, garage or property, you know, smoking a cigar or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shouldn't have been nothing that had to be asked, you know? So that's a big thing for me. And I feel like passive aggressive people, they'll keep doing small little stuff to see how far they can go with you. And I'm not necessarily Jim is like that, but I do know many people that do passive aggressive things. They'll keep asking you questions. They'll keep doing stuff here and there just to see your reaction and see how far they can go. Now, when you're passive aggressive, the reason why it takes a person has to be somewhat smart to be passive aggressive, because if they get called out, they can make it seem like it was genuine. So even though Jim was doing stuff like this, he can still make it seem like, well, you know, all I did was ask CJ for a business thing and he didn't want to take it. Yes, that's true. But at the end of the day, what have you offered CJ? He's paid for all of the services. He's not getting anything for free. So what is there to gain? And I'm not saying that don't help you, but he's helping you by promoting your channel. So I don't know, guys. Like, you know, as I look at these comments, it's almost like, I'm not even gonna say it's 50-50. It's probably like 60% is on CJ's side, 40% is not on CJ's side. But in CJ's defense, when you have people like this, you gotta set them straight, you know, especially if you already gave them your answer, you know, because if you don't stop them, they'll keep going and going and going. And there was one comment like, you know, he can write up a contract with CJ, and, you know, there'll be small little fine print, and 6 or 7 months later, after CJ has signed this contract, it'll be something where he will want to take CJ to court over, and CJ didn't even see it in the contract. It's little stuff like that, guys. And you just got to be careful. And I'm not saying Jim's not like this and he's not successful, but there's many leeches out there. When you get around a millionaire, you don't have that type of money, it makes you think things, it makes you want to do things differently or do something to get inside of that circle. You know, when you get a taste of that life, when you get a taste of being able to spend 10,000 here or 20,000 here or whatever. I'm not saying everybody's like this, but a lot of people are. You know, it's just human nature to have more than what you have. So, you know, that's my take on it, guys. I can see where Jim was coming from, but I can also see where CJ was coming from. But from my personal experience, you know, I honestly felt like CJ was on point. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys keep missing the fact that he's told Jim over and over. This is not Jim doing something and then, you know, CJ just snapping. There was little things that even the audience caught on camera that were adding up to this CJ exploding like this. So get in my comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Am I wrong on this? Am I right? Am I making sense to you guys? You know, I appreciate y'all, you know, tuning in, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.